ultimately people want to see some value for core YHOO. If you look at the public markets, it really doesn't get any valuation currently. So with the board and Marissa really trying to find a way to monetize the core business, it's certainly getting investors excited.
And this, of course, development comes after we heard that Starboard Value, the activist investor, has really been urging for them to call off the spinoff of its Alibaba stake. Does this suggest to you that that plan to spin off the Alibaba stake is off the table, or just looking at other ways around that?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think ultimately they're going to explore many different options. I think from Alibaba spinoff, clearly Starboard came out and they want now YHOO to entertain the sale of the core business, mostly because of tax considerations. I think what the company should be doing is look at selling individually and actually the company as a whole. Again, if you look at the sum of the parts analysis, the valuation is drastically undervalued from a public market standpoint. You have the Baba stake, the YHOO Japan, and then you have core YHOO that's really has a negative valuation. So, to me, it makes sense to try to shop the whole thing. If they're able to get the spinoff and have it on a tax-free basis, that investors would like that. If they're able to sell core YHOO by itself, investors would like that as well. And I think, truthfully, if they're able to sell the whole thing, that investors would like that as well. So, really, any of the scenarios is positive from a stock perspective, and that's why I think the stock is moving right now in the aftermarket.
So, sell the whole thing, lock, stock, and barrel, Brad, to who? Who's best placed to turn it around?
Yeah, Sri, that's the million-dollar question. I think that ultimately private equity, to me, is the one that, makes the most sense. But the other names that could come up, Microsoft and Alibaba themselves. Alibaba keep getting their shares back and then have an asset of YHOO Japan, which is a very valuable asset. And then they have, they can decide what they want to do with the core business. Microsoft obviously went to try to buy YHOO, a couple of years ago. And, maybe they come back and look at it. Right. But ultimately, I think if the company just sells their core business, I think private equity is the one that ultimately buys it. If somebody ends up... Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I've got to ask you, all this tells you that despite her best efforts, Marissa Mayer's attempt to remake YHOO for the mobile era is not working. What went wrong, and what should she have done?
Yeah, it's another great question. Clearly turning around core business did not work, but you have to applaud her for trying to get shareholder value, and that is ultimately what shareholders want to see. They want to see their investment have some nice return, and with her either selling a stake, spinning off the Alibaba stake, selling it in Japan, and or trying to entertain a wholesale, I think shareholders applaud the idea of her trying to get some value for the shareholders. Now, it's very difficult to say without being internally at YHOO what she could have or couldn't have done to turn it around, but you have to applaud her for looking and really entertaining multiple ways to create value for the shareholder.